think it was more Monday.
Today is Friday, and the price is $3.49. It's gone up again. Rhodes does not have a plan for what she will do if prices continue to rise, which stresses her out. Fortunately, her kids have been very understanding about the recent lifestyle cutbacks.
They try to make me feel good, like everything's okay, but I was a kid once and I know there's things they want.
Still, Rhodes has no doubt that no matter how high food prices get, she will be able to provide for her family. She points out that she was raised in rural Maryland. She is, she says, a country girl.
I can shoot a deer. I can do that. I can shoot a turkey. So I will feed my kids one way or the other.
What kind of cheese you have today?
3 hours away in Northern Virginia, Amanda Rudd stands in front of a refrigerated cheese bin at Costco. Rudd is a retired library administrator with small round diamonds in her ears. She says she started to become aware of the prices around February after sitting down and looking over a pile of store receipts.
I just said to myself one day at home, I said, I really don't have to watch what I buy. And so I think about what I buy, what I have at home, and what I can do, because my retirement hasn't changed at all.
Because she's middle class, Rudd's cutbacks are not as dramatic as Rhodes. But she says every time she opens the refrigerator, she thinks about her finances.
I used to kind of toss food without, but now I don't want to toss anything. And some things I just virtually don't buy.
Rudd no longer carries home blueberries or strawberries. She is careful about the meat she buys. But perhaps one of the biggest changes in her life since February is the way she actually gets to the stores where she buys her food.
I don't get in the car and go as I used to, just drive to one of them.
Instead, every Sunday Rudd sits down with a stack of local papers and clips coupons from different stores, something she hasn't done since her early married life. Then, with the precision of a space shuttle engineering crew, she will plot out how best to organize her shopping. Today, she is at Costco because she must go to an appointment down the road. She will buy bananas, and that is all. Then she will make another stop at a giant grocer several blocks away.
I'm going to stop there for one item that they have that I want. I'm going to stop there on my way up to the program today.
These are the changes Rudd has made so far, but she worries that if prices continue to rise, she might have to go back to work. And in some small ways, the cost of food has even touched some higher income people.
Let's see, we have our spicy fried chicken, breaded wings, breaded chicken, breaded potatoes, breaded anything you can think of.
Diane Krause is giving a tour of the prepared food section of the Shoppers Food Warehouse in her Virginia neighborhood. The selection of foods under the hot lamps is very different from the prepared foods offered at her old grocery store. You see, until January, Krause was an organics devotee who shopped at Whole Foods. Then she has what she refers to as her Whole Foods moment.
I went to Whole Foods because I needed a cake and groceries, and it was my daughter's 23rd birthday, so I wanted to get a luxurious cake, and I love Whole Foods for that.
Besides the cake, Krause filled her cart with the usual items, colorful fruit, fresh greens, and picture-perfect meats that she'd been taking home without thinking since the Whole Foods market opened in her community several years ago. Then she got to the checkout and did something that she hadn't done for a while.
And I started looking at the prices and what I was buying, and I realized I had $140 worth of food in the cart, and I didn't have 3 meals. And I realized I could not afford to shop there.
Now, no one was more shocked by this realization than Krause herself. She didn't consider herself the kind of person who had to watch prices.
We have lived in an affluent neighborhood for the last 20 years. We have another house that we bought for cash on the Shenandoah River, and we own a building in Chantilly, which we also bought for cash. So I guess we're upper middle class.
Still, when Krause got home, she started doing some math and discovered that she spent more than $300 a week feeding her family, and that it was starting to stretch their budget. And so she decided to make some sacrifices, starting with one of the things she loved most.
Organic food. I won't buy it right now. It's just too expensive.
That's how Krause ended up at the Shoppers. And Krause says that she isn't the only person she knows who feels this way. She recalls a conversation that she had the previous weekend when she and a girlfriend were getting ready for a small vacation.
We were packing out to go away for the weekend, and my one friend had her Whole Foods bags full of clothes, And I said, well, you know, it's good to know you get another use out of the bags or whatever. She said, yeah, this is the last set. She said, we won't be buying these bags anymore. And I said, what do you mean? She said, you can't shop there anymore.
Crow says she didn't push further. She knew exactly what her friend meant. Elise Spiegel, NPR News, Washington.
This is NPR, National Public Radio.
Support for NPR comes from the Wallace Foundation, whose Knowledge Center is where education leaders can go to learn about improving teaching and learning. Downloads at wallacefoundation.org. From the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, making grants to solve social and environmental problems at home and around the world, on the web at hewlett.org. And from the Ford Foundation, a resource for innovative people and institutions worldwide, on the web at fordfound.org. This is NPR, National Public Radio.
A giant real estate firm is betting billions of dollars here in the city of Karachi. Their bet is that affluent Pakistanis want to live in apartments with an American touch.
You're going to enter Southern California right now. We've learned that the market in this part of the world absolutely loves California.
I'm Steve Inskeep. Luxury living on the urban frontier. Tomorrow on Morning Edition from NPR News.
Listen for Morning Edition beginning at 5 o'clock tomorrow with WOSU's Marilyn Smith. And you can hear Morning Edition on WOSU 89.7 FM. We'll have state and local news coming up at 4:32 this afternoon. Sunshine, 89 right now. The temperature into the low 90s tomorrow.
Support for WOSU comes from Columbus College of Art and Design. Summer art classes for everyone, from sewing to ceramics, start June 9th. Information at ccad.edu.
The time is 4:30.
From NPR News, it's All Things Considered. I'm Robert Siegel. Next, training the Iraqi Navy to defend a small but vital port.
About 90% of the bulk food for Iraq comes through the port. And by bulk food, I mean grain, wheat, sugar, salt.
And Turkey's foreign minister on, among other things, the court case that could doom his government. Now the news.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Carol Van Dam. The top two U.S. Air Force officials are stepping down. Defense Secretary Robert Gates will replace Air Force Chief of Staff General Michael Mosley and Secretary Michael Wynne after several embarrassing incidents. Last summer, a B-52 bomber was flown across the country while armed with 6 nuclear missiles, unbeknownst to the pilot and crew. Now that Barack Obama has secured his party's nomination, he's making changes at the Democratic National Committee. NPR's Don Gagné, who's traveling with Obama in southwestern Virginia, says one thing that stays the same is who heads the DNC, Howard Dean.
The change at the DNC, though, is that the party will no longer accept donations from lobbyists and political action committees. Those are federally registered lobbyists. That is a rule that Senator Obama imposed on his own campaign from the beginning. It is now a rule that's being extended to the DNC.
NPR's Don Gagné. Chinese authorities have arrested 16 people, most of them Tibetan Buddhist monks. They did it last month for carrying out 3 bombings in Tibet. NPR's Rob Gifford reports from Chengdu.
The report on the official Xinhua news agency's website gave no further details of the blasts, nor did it say if there were any casualties. Xinhua said the